talk about breasts.
Let's talk about you and me
Let's talk about all the good things.
and all the bad things. Welcome to episode 70 of Bluetooth Podcast. I'm your best friend, Jaleesa. Thanks for coming back to join for yet another episode. So, this particular episode, we're focusing on the fact that, it's time to travel. It's summertime, summer is here. And when you think about traveling, there's so many things to consider. There's so many things to learn, culture, different ways, different foods, different types of housing, everything. And with that, the thought came about as to, well, which part of the world holds the biggest cups? So, before I go any further, let's see what Boob Tube on the Move has to say. Do you think Americans have the biggest breasts of all women in the world?
I would have to say yes because I haven't been anywhere but America because I've never traveled. So,
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
yeah.
What part of the world do you think has the largest population of women with large breasts?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue what part. I mean, I think I've gone to places, but I've seen kind of the same in other areas. Women have smaller breasts in other places I've seen, but I haven't
That is
really
true.
seen a lot of women in other places that have really big breasts outside of the U.S. where I've gone.
That makes sense. And what part of the world do you think has the largest population of women with large breasts?
I would say definitely the U.S. or maybe somewhere in like South America, like
Okay.
Brazil, kind of, sort of, but definitely in the U.S.
Okie dokie. So we got US as one, we got I don't know, and we also got a probably the US. And according to sources, they seem to be pretty on track with the US. So let's get to it. Where on earth is the largest population with the largest breasts? Let's talk about it. So, first, I'll start with my own personal experience. There's nowhere that has necessarily stood out to me in my travels. I've been to over 20 countries. I can't think of the exact number right now, but I would think that maybe it was somewhere in Africa, but I'm not sure. But I actually do believe that the women in Africa have the bigger bottoms, and I think that's pretty true. But as far as breasts, I'm gonna say that would be my guess. But, then you start hearing about the US. So I looked into it to see what they had to say about that. US was definitely on the charts based on my research. And let's see what else they have to say. It said women in Norway are reported to have the largest average breast size in the world. Other countries with significant breast sizes include Iceland, Luxembourg, and the US and the UK. Researchers have noticed a correlation between larger breast sizes and higher BMI in these countries. And to me, that makes sense because at first I wouldn't have necessarily thought the US. I was just thinking outside of the US, but that does make sense. And then, we talked about it on other episodes too, that there's probably, hormones and stuff in the foods that cause them because it seems like the breasts are getting a little bigger and a little bigger at younger ages these days too. But that's another topic for another day. We do know that the US is known for obesity and higher BMIs. So that would make sense to me as to how we might have the larger breasts if we have the larger bodies. Although larger bodies don't always necessarily equate to larger breasts. You can kind of be large in body size and not have the largest of breasts. It happens. Our breasts do what they're going to do. Now, in some of these, it says that women in Norway have an average cup size of C to D, BMI of 26.2. I'm not good at BMIs like that necessarily by numbers, but if you know BMI by number like that, then have at it. Iceland, I actually heard that Icelandic women had big butts, but I didn't put that to the test myself. And I did visit Iceland, but I wasn't checking out their butts. Um, It says that they have an average breast size of C in Iceland with a BMI of 25.6. Luxembourg, average breast size of C with a BMI of 25.7. US, average breast size of C with a BMI of 29. UK, average breast size of C with a BMI of 27.1. And they also um, discuss Denmark having a healthy BMI, but still feature among the country with the larger breast sizes. So another thing that I want to add with that is just the fact that we also know that breast sizes or cup sizes, bra measurements, all of that aren't the most accurate thing worldwide. We know that there's a lot that goes into bra measuring and bra fitting, and that a lot of people think they're C cups when they're really F cups. So that's something that we have to consider too, because why do all these countries have an average cup size of C? It's probably really more EFG, if we're being honest. But it at least gives us something to start with that those countries are high on the list. So in another resource, of course, it talks about how there are other factors aside from BMI, which are genetics and nutrition and diet, weight, body mass, body mass is the BMI, fitness level, things of that nature. And it says that the average varies between AA and C cups, which again, we know that C might really mean F or G. But let's talk about it. So in this resource, it actually ranked the countries, and it said that the US was number 2 on that list of countries. So it's sounding like it's pretty consistent with what was said and what was researched before. Now, let's see. It did say that the smallest average breast size was Greenland, and they claim to have an average of A cups and a BMI of 26.7. But let's see where number 1 is. Number 1, according to this resource, is Norway, and number 2 is the US. 3 is UK, 4 is Luxembourg, 5 is Iceland, 6 is Russia, 7 Colombia, 8 Canada, 9 Poland, 10 Venezuela. So, based on that information, I would say I'm not surprised to see Poland on the list because Poland is known to have some bras that are in a lot larger cups than what we might get from the US or the UK, which are popular bra sources. So, I actually would have thought that they would have been higher on the list just because, Polish bras are a thing, but I guess not. UK makes sense because when you think about it, a lot of your bra brands that cater to women with larger cup sizes do originate from the UK. And it seemed like the UK was always a little bit of a step further with bra fitting and bras and the importance of all of this than, us in the Western world. And I feel like it's less hard to find what you need out there when it comes to bras. Even though, of course, things have changed over the years and things have become easier here as well and in other places, it just makes sense that UK is up there on the list because they're also up there on the list when it comes to who you can run to to help solve your big boob problems. Um, Again, the other places were consistent. Colombia. So when I think of Colombia, I think about I think if I might be mistaken, but I think that Colombia is popular for a lot of plastic surgeries too. Oh, I know for sure Venezuela is because I remember doing some research about them with the beauty pageants and stuff and how important beauty is to them. So they'll go pretty far to make sure that their beauty is up to par with their with surgeries and things of that nature. So that makes sense for for Venezuela to be on the list, and I would assume that Colombia is pretty close with that. So no surprise there. Okay, so let's remember that when broth-fitting does come into play, that although we're hearing a lot of C cups, which again can be disguised as, well, can be F cups disguised as, which again can be F cups disguised as C cups. But those are, remember, even if it is a C, a 30C and a 40C are not the same. So a 40C is a bigger woman and there's more fat in the breast tissue than a 30C. That's a smaller woman. But both of them consist of the breast coming out approximately 3 inches from the body. So that's where, as far as they discussed before, the BMI, the health, the diet, and things of that nature are going to play a role in this too. So if it's a place where maybe they have worse diets or work out less, then they might be more likely to have a higher BMI and thus have bigger breasts since it is fatty tissue. But this is just what the sources are saying, even though, it seems to be that it's pretty spot on and seems to be what people think, but definitely let me know what you all think. Have you seen some big breasts in some places that weren't mentioned on this list and that you know for a fact, or maybe even the smallest? If I had to guess, oh, well, they say Greenland is the smallest. But I feel like from my observations, a lot of Asian women tend to have some smaller breasts. So I would not be surprised if they were up there on the list of the smallest. They definitely didn't, none of the Asian companies, none of the Asian countries were listed as being high on the list. So might be some consistency there. Um, but yeah, happy summer. And I hope that you all are getting your travels on. Let me know your thoughts about this topic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And you can always shop at bootupodcast.net, get you some nice crop tops and stuff for the summer. And of course, you can leave a little love on Patreon at all times. If you have anything to share, please do. It's a quick topic, but it's something that, of course, it's going to be discussed here on Bluetooth. So let me know what you think. Make sure that you're back in 2 weeks so that you can see what else we have going on for our summer topics. What other guests do we have coming up? Be on the lookout. Until then, adios.